What's up? It's me, ADRI.V The Go Getta, and I want to welcome you to the G Code podcast. You see, this is a place you go to get the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success. There's always a story to be told, and everything that glitter ain't gold. So understand this: there is no need for the cheat code when you got the G Code. So get your notebooks and pens ready. It's time for us to get into it. Welcome to the G Code.
You are now listening to the G Code with ADRI.V.
Hey, what's up, my go-getters? It's me, ADRI.V The Go Getta, and listen, welcome back to another dope episode of the G Code. And today we are celebrating a monumental moment in the cannabis industry. I'm sitting down with two trailblazers making waves in Buffalo, really lighting it up literally and figuratively. Reggie Keith, Director of Strategic Advancement, and Valentine Shine, Director of Brand Strategy from Canna House. Now, Canna House just reached a game-changing milestone over the summer, becoming New York State licensed cannabis micro business. This is a pretty big deal, and we have major people from the city of Buffalo who has played a huge part in making this happen. You see, this journey has been filled with grit, determination, and resilience, and today we're diving deep into the road that brought them here, from navigating the complex cannabis landscape to setting new standard in the industry. We'll talk about their vision for Canna House is just getting started, the hurdles they've overcome already, and how they're representing Buffalo on this historic journey. This episode is all about growth, perseverance, and pushing past boundaries. And as someone who represents Buffalo to the fullest extent, listen, this one, of course, is always for the town. So listen, what you need to do is stay locked in with me, because my guys are about to drop gems, and we got a lot of giggles, a lot of laughs, and all I can say is you're going to learn some things about me too, and how I had dreams and ambitions of once upon a time being in the industry in a particular type of way. Without further ado, all I got to say is, baby, welcome to the G Code. And welcome to another episode of the G Code podcast, where I bring, of course, to the microphone some really dope people, and we talk about the journey, the pretty, the ugly, and the success. Of course, that grind when it comes to having that grit and a mentality to not quitting. And because there's no need to have the cheat code when you got the G Code. So here we talk about the true G Code, which is the journey. And of course, when you go through that journey, at the end of it, there's always that success. And so today, you know what I'm saying, I'm bringing to the microphone Buffalo's best.
Yeah, say that.
Okay, New York State's best.
That's a fact. Okay.
When it comes to Chiefers, okay? I think I need to rename them the Chiefers of everything chiefery, okay? Canna House own, Shine, Valentine Shine, okay? Reggie Keith. And like Reggie, like the name is so proper for what we about to tap into.
Yeah. Reggie know Reggie though.
Reggie know Reggie. And so when I first met these gentlemen, first of all, I met them individually. I met Reggie. I think I was getting my hair braided originally. That's when we really started tapping in. But I knew him from around the way. But I really got a chance to get to know him when I started popping over to get my hair braided. I think it was Nas' house, or was it Aja? It was at Aja's house. So it was your house. Yeah. So I pop in, he there getting it in. But Valentine Shine, for a very long time, I would tell him about himself when it came to the chiefing. And I'll say, brother, you know, I love what you do for you, but you should not publicly put this on display because I don't want you to get in trouble. And you both have been true chiefers all your life.
Say that.
Whether it was legal, illegal, true chiefers. And today, as I sit across from y'all, I am proud to be able to say your chiefing has turned you into true chiefs.
Yeah.
And that's why I call you guys the chiefers. When it comes to this, because you guys have been true to who you are. You stuck to this plant, and this plant made you guys feel good, and it is about to pay y'all good. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I have the creators, the founders, the leaders, the pioneers in this canna business, the one and only, the chiefers of Canna House, Shine and Reggie.
What up, go get
That's
us?
the intro.
That's how you,
That's an intro right
that's how you
there.
pick somebody up. What you say?
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Of course,
man. Thanks
it
for
was
having
it
us,
was
man.
only right. And I feel like we've been trying to schedule this out for a minute now. And although Shine was about to dip on us just now.
Yo.
I wasn't going to say
we
nothing.
have unorthodox times of recording, and so listen, got my boys up here, late night, but we here because I'm gonna make sure they get high off of Red Bull because they have got me high, and I don't even intake the plant,
right.
But I was in the room, and that's how potent, how serious this
Gas
was.
what we smoke.
Yeah, and I don't even smoke, and I just inhaled the smoke. I was like, wow.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little
This
contact.
is a little
Yeah,
contact
little
always,
contact.
okay? And, we're going to dive into your story, but I first have to kick this off with congratulations.
Thank you.
Yo,
so
my
much,
boys
man.
have officially, I don't want to get into it myself because I want to make sure the wording is proper and you are saying this right because I am very green, no point intended, in this space. So please explain to people what we are congratulating you about.
Okay, so we are officially a New York State licensed micro business.
Yes.
So to give some kind of context to that, most people understand cannabis, a licensed business, most likely being a retail, a shop you can go in and purchase, which is a great opportunity. But cannabis as an industry standing up actually needs the full supply chain. So that means growers, that means processors, that means delivery folks, distribution folks, of course retail, and then eventually on-site consumption. What our license does, unlike most licenses in the state, actually across the country, is we actually can do all of that, which is very, very rare. And so it gives us a really unique opportunity to really impact the community past just kind of like transacting. Oftentimes we're just looking for dollars from each other, and that's okay too, right? It's okay to do business, but if we're gonna have impact, having a license like this gives us a real opportunity to do that. So, we bring some brands on board, hopefully, bringing some legacy folks that been doing this in the streets. Hopefully we can transition them into the industry by letting them come through our license opportunity. And so, on top of that, we're gonna do what we always been doing is bringing that energy and that vibe and experience to the cannabis, consumption. And so, yeah, man, that's what the license does right now. So that's what we're celebrating in a congratulatory mode. But we also just got some really good news this weekend. We released our first manufactured product in a dirty lemonade.
That dirty lemonade.
Yes, sir.
So if you haven't, go ahead and stop by Dank 716. They're officially the first retailer in the city to actually have us on legal shelves, man. So that's super huge for us. There's very, very little representation in terms of black ownership of products on shelves. So it's dope that we might own stores, but a lot of the stuff that we're selling in those stores aren't black products. So now we have the ability to have a license and stand up as a black store, and again, all that other stuff I mentioned. But now, as a first entry into the market, you can go buy our product and support, our community. And so please stop by Dank 716, and then I got another shop we're actually going to be at. I'll announce that.
We're gonna get to exclusive. All right, so you have the move into the store. Being at Dank, I saw y'all outside playing rock, paper, scissors, shoot. This is part of the promo. So what does that mean for you guys to be able to have your product in the store now? It's like, because you guys was slinging that dirty lemonade real dirty like, but it was still had the people going. You know what I'm saying? But you guys were still working out in the very beginning. You stood on your product. You stood on what is it you wanted to do. Why were you guys so firm on that?
I was so firm on that because we realized through a lot of research, a lot of data, what the consumer really need, right? So Canna House, in the beginning, we are consumer focused on the consumer. So we started with events and things of that nature. And through the events, we realized that the beverage was the most sought out after thing and the most common thing for entertainment, right? And it's also one of the largest growing sectors in cannabis. So we already had Dirty Lemonade. So once we realized and got that information, we continued to perfect the taste, perfect the craft, perfect the the look of it, and we stood on it because it moves. It tastes good, it's potent, and the people love it. You know what I'm saying? You got to give the people what they want.
Yes, indeed, because you are in a consumer plant-based business,
Yes.
as you
Indeed.
said very
Yes.
clearly before. So, we kind of kicked off talking about where you are currently, but it's a journey. It's a road that got you to be able to be right here. And it's still another journey for what's next, right? So we're going to definitely get into that. But what I love to do is dive into the beginning stages of being a chiefer, with you guys. Listen, growing up, it was called, of course, reefer, right? And we're taught, dare, keep your kids off drugs. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Like, the war against drugs were insane. But growing up, it was everywhere, especially in our neighborhood. I'ma keep it a buck. And I tell Val this all the time, and he laughed at me. And I said, growing up, I wanted to be a drug dealer. I wanted to be one because he still laughs at me. He laughed at me, and I'm saying so seriously. Like, they had the fire cars, the beats, the rims. I remember my boy having, I ain't gonna say his name, but I remember my boy having the flip out TVs in his joint.
Oh, yeah,
the
that was-
TVs in the
yeah.
front.
That's a
He
drug
had the
dealer
fly
era.
kicks all the time,
Yep.
the chains, the sidekick, and the chirp next tail. Yo,
Yeah, what's up?
he lit,
I'm a
right?
drug dealer.
And in my head, how you get all that? I see you on a block.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I see the people working for you on the block. I'm getting off the bus. Hey, y'all, they're my friends, right? But I wanted to be like them. And in my head, the 2510s, I knew a little something.
Whoa, okay now, okay.
Hey,
that was some real
okay,
cold
that-
language right
you-
25.
I know a little something.
Classic bag.
Hello?
Shout out to the-
Listen, we
shout
used to
out
go to
to the
the corner
2510s.
store.
Shout out to the
Corner
apples.
store. Our corner store, Linda, used to sell them. But it was a thing that where in my dualities of life of being outside on my block in my hood, this was a cultural thing that was against when it comes to legalization, it wasn't legal. Folks was getting locked up regularly for it. My friends was spending time. I remember my homeboy handed me some one day, like, they not going to touch you. Right? And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But they did it. And I immediately handed that back because I got nervous. My God, I'm not really cut out to be one.
Right.
However, it was a thing in our community, right? And it was a cool factor for people to do it. But I never smoked a day in my life because I had a father who was on drugs. And in my head, it was this crazy connection, right? But you guys have debunked all of this. I want to talk about your journey because you guys were doing this, as a young buck. What was, when they say, when was your first time you fell in love with hip hop? Right? I want to know, when was the first time you fell in love with the tree?
Ooh, that's a good question. Man,
What was that experience when you hit it and you said, oh,
okay, so
Mary J.
So I fell in love with like the imagery of cannabis, right? I was impacted by like the chronic, right? Just seeing it. I didn't really know what it was then, but just hearing it, it was so, like you said, so cool.
Yeah.
A big thing that happened in our youth is they just jumbled cannabis in with all the other drugs.
Yep, they
so we
did.
just assumed that this was all bad. And so when I seen the chronic and I started to see this thing being kind of like, I don't know if it was soft pushed or just was seeming
Culturally,
it was seeming more acceptable, right? And
Yep.
then the people that I hung around, the uncle seemed the
Yep.
cool uncle had the joint
The
all
white
the time,
rappers.
the white rapper,
Yep.
right? And so I kind of fell in love with like the aura of cannabis. I like the guys that was like who hung around, like even like early I could see the difference between like a crack dealer and a weed guy,
Yep.
right? It's like they just
Completely
carried
different.
themselves a little different. It wasn't as dangerous. They was more cool and chill and
Yep.
had a good personality. People liked them.
So true.
Right? And so I fell for that. I like that.
Yeah.
And so, before I kind of knew what the plant was doing that for them, I was just like, I just like that energy. And then eventually I kind of got in, to smoking. I tell the story all the time. First blunt I ever smoked was like, it was in a paper bag, not an actual blunt. I was just going off things that I saw, right?
Right.
So
Yo,
it looked like a paper. The blunt looks like a paper bag, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah,
Am I
it does.
wrong?
You are absolutely right. It
So,
do.
paper
Thank
bag, and I just assumed weed is, it looked leafy.
Yep.
I could find something that was leafy. I had a plant across the street that grew in a park. I grew up in a park. Called it the chronic tree.
you. Yeah, it
To
looked
us,
like it.
Yeah, it had,
Was that poison ivy? Oh
I
my
don't know what it
God.
was.
Your
Honestly,
mother was smoking poison ivy.
that was not a good idea.
He's smoking elm leaves.
Shout out to my little brother Danny, man. Oh man, that was tough. So again, that was my first time experiencing like what my desire to.
Yeah.
You know, later on in that summer, I smoked cannabis with my friends for the first time, and I liked it. You know, I enjoyed it in terms of like how it made me feel, but more importantly, it really was camaraderie. Like we just was hanging out, right? We went into mischief. We just got some snacks, hung out, laughed, talked, and I was like, oh, I just liked that's what we did. And so I just want to do that with my friends. If weed was the thing, then cool. And then I grew up and I started to understand like how I enjoyed it and what it did for me. You know, medically, I started to like, you know, embrace it a little more. But yeah, intentionally, that was like I loved the aura of it. Then I kind of like tasted like my first impression of it, and you know, it didn't go so well. But then eventually, I kind of like I had the real thing, and it was like, okay, no, this is I'm finding my groove here.
Right.
And we grew up together. You know, what I mean, that story was probably like 13, 14 years old, and you know, so 20 plus years later, man, and we still together.
Still together. We still together.
Still together.
Come on, Val. When did you first fall in love with the tree?
So my love for the tree was a little bit later in life. Because I didn't smoke weed at a younger age when Reggie started like 13, 14. Because my mother...
She wasn't having it.
Not having it.
Hey,
so
Mama
Shine. I'm good on that. But when I went to college, girl I liked, she smoked weed.
Ooh.
I'm like, oh, no, you smoke
Yo, is he always got the
Hey, I knew what I
$1 million. This story has something to do with a girl.
That is the craziest.
I knew
We're
it.
going to talk about my boy being a lover boy later. We're going to talk about that.
Yo,
this is so on brand.
I was a freshman.
So on brand.
I was a freshman. She was a junior. She was smoking weed, and I was just like,
what's that?
Oh, what's good? She's like, oh, no, I'm going to roll the weed up. It was like, if you play back the song, Renee in your head, when he rolled up the blood.
Right.
I was like, oh, she rolling the weed up. And when I smoked the weed the first time, I was like, oh, this is cool. Because he had an aura for it. Like, I wanted to be more like a drug dealer. I wanted to be a drug dealer. So I'm like, let me
so we have something in common, but you laughed at me.
No, because I did it.
Y'all look like you see his eyes. I did it. You
faking around. You faking around. You fantasize. Think about it, boy. It's like, I'm getting money with this, man.
I live this life.
So I started smoking with my homegirl, and the rolling it up. I got like OCD, right? So trying to perfect something.
Perfect.
No.
Well, we're gonna talk about y'all rolling wars, cause
trying to perfect the rolling thing, like that intrigued me. The whole process of rolling is like I like that. It's like therapeutic kind of like rolling thing, trying to make it perfect. My OCD really like goes well with that because it's like organization.
Did you keep yours nice in a little jar over there?
Bag. So like it's all that part of it is for me like the whole like process of rolling, smoking, and then like you said, the camaraderie. Everybody love weed, and people that love weed are good people. Like I've never met a weed head that was wild, smacking people, want to fight. Like I've never
real calm,
ever
real
met
chill,
one. I've
laid
never
back.
ever good conversation. They've been doing things. They be accomplished. Like they be educated. I never really. Oh yeah, I'm trying to get high today. Nah, I don't know those kind of like weed smokers. The weed smokers that I know are really like, you know,
get into it.
Working weed
people. Yo, I'm crying. So with those kind of introductions, they put you on a path and a journey.
Yeah.
So we will say for a good 20 years, this thing was illegal in your space, in your era of time. And then now we're in this, and during that time, you have had some ups and downs and journeys with cannabis. You know, and you know, Val, I'll start with you, then I'll jump to you, Reggie.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about selling it, and when I mentioned it, you know, I have friends who sold it all day long, and I watched them get locked up, or when they're running and they're tossing it, or you know, really getting pulled over by the police, and this is what's happening. You know what I'm saying? And they went to jail for this. Depending on if you already had your own circumstances and situations, how long you about to be in here. And for me, I'm delighted in the legalization because of how we were treated before with it, you know, and the benefits to now those who've already have this particular records, how you benefit from that. And I really want to make sure we put a pin in that and get to it. Yeah. But I want to speak on your journey to maintaining your relationship. When we know how your relationship started, but how that relationship morphed into other components. Like you said, I started selling it, and you put your life on the line for this tree. You know what I'm saying? So what was that relationship was like, loving something and enjoying it and knowing the risk behind it and still dealing with it, believing it so much so.
So when I was loving it to the point where I was in love with the risk, it was totally different from the love that I have for it now.
Yeah.
The love I had for it when it was a risk was like, this is the love that's going to keep me going to love it. You know what I'm saying? The love that I have now is a different drive. This love I have for it is because I can see the influence and the power that it has for our culture, just like you said.
Yeah.
And we have already experienced that by being the pioneers in the space for, our generation, our city. And the fact that we're able to educate now, the fact that we're able to give insight on like job opportunity now, that is what is keeping me going now, because I can see we setting something up for our people. You know what I'm saying? So it's totally different from the excitement of like in the rush of like being cool and selling drugs and yeah, I'm all that. It's not about that no more. Right now the love that keeps me going is the love that I can see that we're gonna have a really huge positive impact on our community and our generations through cannabis.
Yes.
Like that's how I'm looking at the love for it now, because we'll leave a legacy. And that's what we're trying to do with this, because the opportunity that's presented to us. Shout out to Stokes for
shout out to
MIT,
the Assembly woman, majority leader, Crystal People Stokes.
The way she wrote the bill is for us.
And she was conscious of that, deliberate, intentional.
It's very social equity driven. You know what I'm saying? It's the language we talking about the bill. So my love in that aspect of being able to leave an impact is what keeps me going on right now.
But really, if there was no risk, there would be no reward.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the risk that you took to be able to show your investment in this led you to the reward of where you guys are today.
Sure.
Right? Sure. And even with you as being someone who got into it because you were looking at a whole cultural aspect. Like I remember Snoop Dogg made me want to smoke weed. You know what I mean? Like you said, the chronic, and you seeing everybody, because I'm a hip hop head.
Facts. I'm
a hip hop head. So this is a part of hip hop. And, for you, like you said, you kicked off with that, but in those years, what was the risk like that have now led you to this reward?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of it was ignorance, right? And so just my youth kind of led me to make decisions that were kind of like in the moment.
Yeah.
Right? And so it made sense then, right? And maybe if I did know the whole picture, I might not have made that decision. And so sometimes a little bit of that was just circumstantial. But a lot of it was just, my relationship with the plant matured. And so as we kind of like were hand in hand, and as I started understanding my overindulgence, right? Because that's most of us getting introduced to it, right? We young, or in my case, I was super young, smoking with my friends, and we playing the video game, and we smoking 3, 4, 5 blunts. What are we doing? What are we doing?
What are you? What are you talking about?
No, wow.
I agree. I'm not saying it was good then, but I'm saying as I matured, though, I started to understand, right? Hey, that. You don't need that, and what are you really searching for, right? And then you get to your why, and for me, that's why we got into the service side of it, is because as consumers, we started to really grasp what we wanted as consumers, and we started seeing the demand for it out in the world. Yeah, and it was like nobody's providing this though. Yes. Nobody's considering all these things and then taking it in consideration and then operating with that mindset. And so, as again, the relationship matured between, myself and the plant, whether it's consuming or, at times, providing it in school, right? Going through college, right? Just learning how to smoke for free, right? This is like the maturation of it, right? It's like, okay, I started smoking. One of my friends had it, and they would always have it, but then it's like, all right, well, if you want it, you need some money,
right?
And so it's like, okay, now I start paying for it. It's like, okay, this is a rich man's habit.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, you can't be doing this, bro. You broke.
Yeah.
And so then eventually you learn, like, okay, well, if I buy it for this, and a couple of my friends buy half of this, I can keep the other half, and it's like I did it for free.
Right.
And so that's the first step into it. And then before you know it, hey, I'm a little more people need it. And now it's like, oh, I'm not smoking for free no more. I'm actually making money off of it.
Yeah.
And, I'm stumbled into it. And so that led to, like, understanding, like, okay, I can provide this. This is something I can do. I have the skill to do. And again, developing skills as you're working for other jobs and you're starting to see, like, what's transferable? How can I use this? And then
transferable skills, boy.
And then having that foresight to see that this started to legalize in a bunch of other states, and it was coming down the line, and there was no way New York was going to sit on the sideline. And so, with that in mind, I jumped out early. Again, shout out to Crystal Peoples-Stokes, because she brought together Cannabis 101, which was a huge opportunity for our region, where she just told us what was coming. Hey, this is the bill I'm writing. If this passes, this is what's going to be available for you. And if you want to have an opportunity to do so, this is the stuff you need to be doing right now. And that just led us on the path of, like, all right, how much of that can we actually do with our bandwidth, with our budget right now? And we just started doing what we could when we could.
So let's talk about that twofold. Let's first talk about the bill and what it is. Then I want to get into you guys creating a social club around cannabis, because that was the first intro, I think, as a collective officially that you created. So much so that people who don't smoke, like myself, was like, how can I be a part of Canna House? And you got Val over here like, you don't even smoke. Like, yo, that's crazy. I can't be social either. But let's talk about this bill, because oftentimes people would shy away from said entity, from cannabis, weed, whatever you want to call it. And you have this woman who I love dearly, and she's just such a force, who said, yo, we about to run with this. And I know this is going to be beneficial to my people. And I'm going to pinpoint some key people who I need to talk to and need to jump on this. So tell us about the bill for those who are completely green. I always use that. Green in this space, and what that bill meant and what it did for you guys.
It's the MRTA, right? The Marijuana Regulation Taxation Act, also known as MARTA. So if you hear any of those three names, they're talking about the same thing. Essentially, this is what made adult cannabis use legal in New York State. Again, Shine alluded to earlier, it is really a social equity bill wrapped in cannabis. Crystal really was intentional, and those that helped her write that, about the goal of 50% of the licenses being occupied by social equity applicants, which would be considered, because you can't just say black people, right? I mean, when we say social equity, intentionally, that's what we want to be affecting, the people most affected by the war on drugs. And we're doing that. But by law, you can't just say black people, right?
Right.
So there are
suing folks now.
Right, exactly. There's distressed farmers, there are veterans, women, and then again, communities most affected by the war on drugs, which is mostly black and brown communities. So if you fall into that category, you consider social equity. And again, the goal and the intentionality of how the law was rolled out, regulation rolled out after the laws passed, right? Laws gets passed, for those who don't know, quick lesson, law gets passed, but then there's a regulation period where somebody says, okay, this body of regulators has to make sure that that law that got passed is rolled out properly. How is this actually going to live in the world? Here's the standard that we're having, but how does that standard get rolled out in the real everyday world, right? And so the regulatory body, which is the OCM, they then took that bill and they started to put together how you can get a license and how you can apply and what the cost was, where you can be at, those rules. And so essentially that's what the MRTA is and what it did. It allowed for a ton of small businesses to be successful. I mean, that's what it's designed for. It stops vertical integration. So there are licenses in New York State of like the medical groups, medical providers. If you see those guys, they're called registered organizations. There you're allowed to kind of do a full vertical integration, which is, seed to sale. You can do everything from growing it to, selling it. The same thing we can do. Again, our license is a micro business. So if you think about those two things, the first one with the medical companies, they're kind of the bigger ones. They can kind of do that in a much larger scale than us. And then we're capped at certain things that we can do, but we do have the same capability. And again, without getting too deep into the minutia of that, essentially the bill allowed for that though, right? For those different opportunities for those companies to exist in the same time, which often most markets don't consider that, right? If you let the big guy come in, he's going to spend all the money, he's going to take over the market share, and then the little guys really don't have an opportunity. And so it was really important that the bill rolled out that way. Shout out to Chris Alexander, who just stepped down, and my bro Damien, who was the director of social equity. They both recently left the state. That's a whole nother conversation we won't get into. But shout out to the work that they did.
Yeah.
Because they won't get enough recognition, and most people will forget their names, unfortunately. But without them and the work that they did, we wouldn't even be close to what you're going to see as a market stand up. And so I'm really proud of those black men leading in the state, and sacrificed a lot of stuff.
So
for
we're
sure.
gonna give them their crowns on today.
For sure. So yeah, that's the MRTA in a nutshell. How why it was important for it to roll out the way that it did, and how it's currently affecting things.
Listen, I love that, and I loved all the big words you used during that point.
Sorry about that.
I said, did you just say minutia?
Sorry about that.
I'm out of here.
I said, come on, Reggie, come on. Listen, he just turned it all the way on for me.
It's a great order. You heard?
My boy gave it to me. I was like this. I just feel like I had a one-on-one session.
This is his thing.
Listen, this is his thing, and I love that because it's passion.
I love that.
And this is why I was so delighted to speak to you guys and beyond happy for you guys moving in this direction, because you guys aren't new to this, you true to this.
Facts.
This is why I talked about the risk, because you risk your lives for what you have built today, and you're still risking it because you're putting everything on the line. So, as we talk about everything that's being on the line, you guys created a line, an opportunity that have put you in position, which was when I first started seeing this Canna House rolling around. And I'm like, what is this Canna House? They got events, it's a social club, you got membership cards, membership events. Yo, I was like this, how do I be down? And Val was being a hater. You don't smoke, ADRI.
Wow.
Now, he shouldn't have said that, because you were not the only non-smoker
Listen,
that wanted to be down.
Was it? But I was like, that's
one thing I should know for those who are listening to this podcast right here. Who needs enemies with brothers and sisters like this?
No,
it's always bow this, bow that, bow this.
Yes.
So are we lying,
Are
or
we
is this
lying
just
or what?
coincidence?
I think how you repeated behavior. Y'all just say it so much, it just comes out like bow.
Somebody gotta be the bad guy? Is that what it is?
Ding 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 ding.
No, that's not it, because you
That's
are the
definitely
bad guy. That's the problem. And so I'm seeing Canna House going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because I always call Val the ghost marketer. He's always get with other people brands, and he knows I would like really just bark on him. And he would get on everybody else's brand and just make it grand. And he's just a marketing guy on the back end, right? But here, y'all at the table all together. And it's like, oh my God, this is really for you, because this is all you like to do.
Combines your world.
Combines your
all
world.
you do is ghost market.
That's it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right? You're the marketer. You love weed. Oh my gosh. Here we are. And it's really just a thing of full people in their passions. A love for a plant, flipping it to a social club, flipping it to now having this license that's going to be even bigger. But let's talk about you guys kicking off Canna House. And it just swept Buffalo. You gave people a place to call their own, who too indulges into into cannabis, indulge into the other avenues of the planetary of being a chiefer. Stop.
No, that's real. That's real though.
Yeah.
The funny story about this, right? I'm gonna let Shine finish this story.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say he's a ghost marketer, right? He's in the back. And I was like, when I got into this originally, I taught him, shout out to my older brother, Rich, who's our awesome partner, you know what I mean, Chef Rich. I said, yo, man, I'm getting into cannabis. I really want y'all to be down with this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Please. I got the skills. We can do this.
Come on.
Let's do this,
Come
bro.
on.
He looked me dead in my face.
Tell the truth, Fred.
He said, oh, that's good, bro. You should do that.
Yeah, that's not just like him.
Hey, yo,
That is
bro.
him.
I
You
meant
hit me
us,
with that
fool.
before, too.
I meant us, dog. So, no. But
I think he hit me with that today, to be honest.
No,
He really did. I called him. He said, okay, you what you doing? No, I'm talking about looping you in.
Us,
What you
us.
mean?
Yes, my boy. He played dumb.
Yeah, he
He's
do.
very intelligent.
Very intelligent.
He plays the little. Oh, what you say? I didn't even hear you.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Yep.
So yeah, he was like, nah, man, go for it. That's your thing. I'm like, all right, thanks, bro. Thanks for the support.
Yo, see y'all.
No,
Chill on me, man. Chill on me, man. Chill on me, man.
But honestly, I circled back maybe about 3 or 4 months after that. I created the brand and understood what we wanted to do, and I had a more clear understanding of like, yo, this is what I'm actually doing. And when I brought it to him again the next time, I actually had it all ready to go, and he was actually the inaugural 50 members. Our first 50 members. I went out, I made these really cool boxes. It's like, I want you to be like, yo, you're the inaugural member. We want you to be the ones that start us off. And so I invited him to our first event, our puff and paint, and he got there, and I'll let him finish telling us.
Come on.
I got that. I was like,
but first of all, Reggie, you were committed. You were relentless.
Oh, for sure.
You were relentless.
For sure.
Like, yo, bro, come on, stop playing with me. I know you got the skill set. Come over here. I got something good.
Bro.
yeah, I came to the event. I was like, oh shit.
This fire.
Yo, I came to the event as a customer at this point because, like I said, I was like, yo, no, you do your thing, bro. I'm gonna go support my friends.
So shady.
I support my friends. I support my friends.
He do though. He do.
I got there. I was like, next thing I know, I'm working.
That's a fact.
Like, yo, bro. By the end, I need to be down with this, bro.
That's a fact.
So I'm saying, so I seen.
That's a fact.
Once he came to me with a more clear vision,
And that is a good point to make in entrepreneurship, especially when you are seeking after people to be a part of your team. You gotta come correct.
And I ain't had no money. So I'm like, hey, bro, I need you to look out for me, too. Like, while I need you to help me, I actually need you to do it for free.
for free,
my boy.
Yo, and this is when I just came back home.
Oh, yeah.
From New York City. I quit Wall Street.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to bounce back.
I'm watching him on Snapchat every day, smoking.
She calling me every day.
Every day.
Get off that internet.
Like, stop putting it on the net. Like, stop.
I'm like this. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you right. All right, yo. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm like, bro, I don't mind it. Like I'm his mother's son.
Right.
Like, we don't mind. I know you do it, but stop showing it.
Yeah,
you got this responsibility. You got this. Everybody is not. So I'm thinking I'm being a good sister.
And now today, you were being a good sister, but this is where us as the pioneers had to let you know, like, yo, nah, this is how you pave the way. That's how you pave the way here. I'm paving the way. Like, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. I got this. And if anything goes wrong, just know that I was doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And now today, we putting out content. What we doing? Our paper scissors challenges.
Yep.
It's getting wide range of views because we understand now. Like you said, we understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just on Snapchat smoking weed no more.
It's about how you package it.
Looking crazy. Like,
he got the most perfect blunt. You know what I mean? Showing them how this joint is. I'm like, I don't learn how to roll. I'm watching you.
Right. Yeah, Rolling War still in effect. Don't forget that season 2.
Shout out to all those casualties of that war.
That was a fun time. I enjoyed watching that.
It's back. Season 2 is back.
Season 2 just jumped off.
We gotta get into that. This is terrible. So you at the first puff and paint, then you start working, and then you was like, all right, I want it.
Yeah. Soon as I got there, I was like, oh nah, this is my type of vibe. Because like he said, he created a aura or an image of this is cool.
Yeah.
Somebody was doing it. It was at my family's coffee, so this is my man.
Yep.
I just came home, and I've been an entrepreneur spirit my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So this is a lane where I'm like, I'm willing to do this with my man for a chance to change my life. Now, when did I think this was gonna happen? Who knew? We in year 7 now. We're in year 7 right now.
7 years
That
later.
went by so quick because I remember that first puff and paint when you said that.
So fast.
When I look back at this stuff, I'm like, yo, we really we really raw. Because we was really doing this
with
in a time
no
when
real path, no direction.
There was nothing, and nobody was doing it.
No.
But Reggie had the vision.
Yeah.
Like you said, we all good in our respective lanes, and that's what we pride ourselves on. I don't try and be the CEO. He don't try to be the marketer and brander. We go to each other like, yo, what should I say here? You want it to look like this? I'll make it look like that. It's like, do your thing. And that's where we at right now. So like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to have somebody that has a vision. You know what I'm saying? That can
vision in focus and drive, because you can have vision all day, but if you ain't got no focus, you can't see.
It's hard though too.
It's so hard.
And especially as a black man in life. Man, we was going through these last. You know, we went through these last 7 years.
Listen, hold on. yo, listen. But that's
Praise break.
hello. Well, that's real. That's real. Because even with you guys building out Canna House, right? You guys were killing it. You started doing regular events, all kinds of events. You did the round table conversation. You brought me into an event. And I promise you, I'll never forget when he hit me up like, yo, sis, I want to invite you to this official invite. I said, I don't smoke.
Right?
Right?
Come on, y'all. But I'm saying this the whole time. But I'm saying this the whole time.
Because you made me feel like I couldn't be included. And then when I wanted to be a part of that, you don't smoke. Like, wow, that's crazy. So I'm just gonna take it like I can't be included.
Hey,
so when he hit me with the spin the block, like, yo, sis, I want you to come to this event.
Oh, now you want me to
right.
be,
I'm like,
it's the same.
I don't
smoke.
smoke. Right. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna come. So in my head, I'm like, I don't know what I'm about to walk into, okay? Because I'm just like, it's just about to be this smoke fest. But no, you come into the space that y'all had. I mean, the whole table was like a smorgasbord of weed. Like, it was just blunts everywhere. You got your backwoods, you got your Dutchies, you got the weed, I mean, pound for pound on the table. Like, I was like, yo, is that the turkey? Like, I feel like I'm at like a Thanksgiving feast.
Nah,
it was fire to walk in there as someone who's completely green, no point intended to that. And I learned so much. And you had a diverse type of people from all walks of life. I mean, I felt like I was really at like the Thanksgiving table of weed.
Word.
You know, I got a girl next to me who making butters. Got another girl who the man who was making butters, the girl who's making lotion. She got a whole shop.
Yep.
Then in comes this woman who looks like she worked at a car garage. Full jumper on, and she comes in with the toolbox.
With the toolkit. The
drops
fold
the
out.
toolkit on the table.
Like a
And I
movie.
said, yo,
Like a
first of
movie.
all, I grew up being in my grandfather. He's a mechanic, garage shop. So I said, wow, she's a mechanic. She must have just got off work. Bringing her tools in, tools cost money.
Right.
You can't leave those in the car. Somebody rob you. In my head, I'm making it all make sense. When she dropped that toolbox on the table and she started popping out the different, I said,
She was plopping down mad
there's
weed.
different weed in
Mad
there.
weed.
And the lady was telling me everything. Sativa, indica. What this mean? In the couch. Wow, you're going deep. This is a lot. You know, I'm learning. You can use this or you can use that, and then this right here. And now my eyes is like, whoo, teach me more. And my head is going. So much so when we started doing the round table, by this time, all that weed that was going on, I'm getting secondhand, right? I mean, I done been in the studios before and got a little bit of contact, but this contact is different. Everybody is giving it. Then you got Rich over there chefing it up. And I asked Rich, like, which one don't have infused? Because I need to make sure I'm fully present. We got to talk. Because this was like the podcast, right?
Yep.
And so everybody's talking and y'all doing y'all intros and y'all toss it. So Adri, what are your thoughts? Like, what? And I had to really keep it a buck in that moment. Like, I'm just happy to be at the table because you guys have enlightened me at a whole nother level of my perspective of keep kids off drugs, of DARE, right? And even when my mother was a hospice, we were taking care of at home, I remember calling Val like, yo, we need some dirty lemonade, a lollipop, like doing whatever to put her in this place of comfort, right? And so then I started diving into the medical marijuana component and what that looks like and how it helps. And so sitting at the table with you guys, I learned so much in that moment, you know, and I left there with a new perspective and a new desire and a way of like, how can I champion? How can I support it? And looking at the component of once upon a time, we were going to jail for this, and now we're able to make money off of this. Now we're able to legalize this and make it beneficial for us. And this white girl that was right there, you know, and I don't want to call her girl because I'm not sure what she may identify as. Who knows? I want to be respectful. she was kicking game. So much so she's like, yo, if you want to be down, I'm like, yeah, give me the details. I'm interested. Cause she was giving me so much so I took stuff home. And Val said, where you going?
Yo, that's what I was waiting for her to get to this part. She was taking so she took, let me go into these, let me go into these, let me go into those. I'm like, what are you doing with all of this?
Are you hosting a party?
What is going on?
Rave coming up?
Are you
When
serious?
I tell you, Val was like this. What are you doing? I said, well,
She
I might
took
have
some
somebody
of
wanna
everything.
come over and grab
She
something.
took some of everything.
It was pre-rolls. I was like, yo, this is fire. All my life, I saw people roll up. It was either the little white paper or the backwoods or the Dutchies. I was like, that's it. That's all I knew. So it's a pre-roll?
Mad of them.
But what really got me excited was the safe consumption.
Yeah.
Because I remember growing up and there was a gentleman down the street from me and we used to call him like Crazy Tone. Literally, that's what we called him. We was kids. But the story behind it was that he smoked his weed and it was laced. Who knows the truth? But that stuck to my head as a kid. To where I was like, oh, I'm not touching nothing because you don't know where it's coming from or anything.
That's a fact.
But this avenue and this transition with this particular bill, you're creating safe consumption. And then you're educating people on so many avenues and the use of the plant. And I think changing the idea of it being weed and marijuana to it being a plant changes the palette of how people are able to digest it
100%.
and to receive it, right? And so that kind of a event that you guys had during your social club was a benefit to me as somebody who was completely new, and I'll never forget it. I still talk about it real randomly, right? Learning indica and sativa. I was like, oh wow. I'm a sativa girl if I was to. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I ain't saying I will, but if I did,
you got
sativa?
sativa? You know what I mean? That's it. Because I don't do no indica. I don't want to be in the couch.
But that's the key, though. That's the key to our educational component. You want to be able to make sure that the person who may not ever have known about marijuana makes the best decision possible for them when they do come in contact with cannabis, right? It's not, we don't encourage people to smoke weed, you know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that you just educated, like you said, debunk those myths, like bridge the gap of communication, you know what I'm saying, between people who are knowledgeable about weed and those who are not.
And also the imagery. The imagery looks like who's using it and how it's being used. I got somebody over here with butter. I say, butter? How you making butter? To the chick with the lotion, I said, you know, I did hear about that, but when she's breaking it down, like, you got a whole shop with this? Like, it was so much going on in that space. And you got the infusion component of the food. And I mean, when I look back at it, and every time I see you guys hitting your strides in these levels, I just be like, my God, like this is so amazing. So you guys go from creating your Canna House to with it being a social club to really spinning it out to even greater. So you pumped the brake on a social club. Was that at the point where you knew you had to kind of get different things in order and alignment and preparation for what was coming?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean that evolution.
Yes.
Right? It's the evolution of kind of the hustle to the legalization, right?
Yes.
The term they use.
It was still a really good hustle.
It was. I mean, honestly, shout out to those still busting moves, man. I mean, cannabis has, you know, fed our families and our community for generations, right? And so I will never knock the hustlers. You know what I'm saying? I do encourage them to transition over into the legal space, right?
Please.
Legacy to legal. Shout out to Dashida Dawson. She coined that term.
I like that.
But that is, you know, that was a part of our evolution, was really understanding that, okay, if we want to be a sustainable force in this, right? Because we could have had our moment. We could have been the innovators that brought all of this stuff to our region and these events, and then we just fizzled out, right? Or we could have just stayed in that space. But we saw the foresight to say, hey, legalization is going to come. And addition to that, it really took us on a different path besides what we were just doing as the social club. Unbeknownst to us, we were just learning how much of a force and resource we were for the community. And so as we started to see and understand that responsibility, we say, oh, we have to do more, right? The industry. So we started getting influence and realized, like, hey, if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it for us. Nobody's going to do it for us.
Nobody.
And in fact, in 10 years, we're going to look back and say we even did have a license, say we did get to this path, right? And we didn't do things like create the CARE program or go out into the community and educate. We would have to look back and say, our community is not educated, not up to par, and they missed a ton of opportunities, and that was on our watch.
fault. Yeah.
That was on our watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
We was the first ones learned about it, so it's our responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it can't be like, oh, I was the first one in, and I just want to flex on y'all. Like, yeah, anybody doing this first. Like, I could say that, but more than anything, it's like, if I'm first in line, that means that anybody came behind me and they weren't prepared, then that's on me, kind of, right? Now, they could have went and found the information too, but I didn't make it easier for them, right? And what kind of
it was like, I got mine, you gotta get yours.
What kind of pioneer is that, right? That's not the pioneers that we really want and we hold dear to our hearts that we've seen in the history of our culture, right? And so we wanted to fall into the lines of people that really have real impact. And so as we saw that, again, we were evolving into like, oh, more than a social club. And then yes, you know, the law says, hey man, you got to stop doing that if you want to be in position to be a license holder, right? And so there were so many things that was risky because there was no timeline. Everything was like the plane was being built that we were flying it. And so we were having to make adjustments, and you know, we did pretty good. We held out on the legacy side for quite a while, as long as we could. And probably like the last, 6-7 months, we really kind of like pumped the brakes and really understood like, okay, what that looks like. We cannot be compromised when we're going to be a licensed operator. And so that kind of like was,
and that's another sacrifice.
It is, and it's a big, and honestly, it's what killed a lot of people on our journey. We watched a lot of our friends, folks that we met in the industry that really wanted to do this, right? Jump too fast, purchase a lawyer, or retain a lawyer, or purchase a property, or put all their money into one part of the industry, right? And then licensing didn't happen, or regulation didn't happen as fast. And so they're sitting on this big decision where they're paying money out, and it's costing them, and they can't do anything to make the money back because they haven't been legalized yet, right? So we did our best to kind of like gauge what we thought was right and when we thought it was right, and we did our fair share. I mean, we paying for it now. We pretty broke now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's all right.
You know what I mean? On the way.
Temporary.
I ain't got it, baby.
You in between blessings. You ain't broke.
That's right.
You ain't broke. So we ain't claiming none of that. We in between blessings.
That's real right there.
I ain't got it, baby.
But that's real. That's a big part of what could make people give up.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people not want to give up, but they had to. And so we're just privileged, and we're honored to still be fighting the fight. You know what I mean? And I think again the evolution of what we meant, I think, to the community and the cannabis consumers really shaped what direction we went in. Right. Why we started to do education more, why we led more into advocacy, shaping the bill. Right. We wrote a white paper that really helped shape the on-site consumption, right? Because the state just didn't see things the way that the industry was already existing.
Because California was already doing this before New York State.
And even outside of other states that were legal, New York State had a cannabis culture that they were legalizing. Right? This is the difference. It's not like you were creating an industry for somebody. Right. This industry exists already
here.
Right? And if you want us to come over and play in your party, you need to create something that makes sense.
Feasible for us.
And which is why a lot of
my over here untaxed,
which is why that happens, right? Now I encourage them that's short-sighted, because paying no taxes now, exactly. You're gonna wait longer, and before you decide to get in, there's probably gonna be a flood of the market of legal folks, and so you're gonna be at the end of the line, and you made 3 years of tax-free money, but you missed 50 years of tax capital that could have really led to legacy in your family. So there's some argument to be said about that, but I just think, again, understanding that this industry already existed and that we're legalizing it is a big part of making sure that what we see on the legal side represents what actually already existed. Right. And the further you get away from that, the less you'll see black people. Yeah. Right. The less you'll see us, and that's what we were scared of. 100%. Most
affected, because when it came down, for me, I just was like, I love this because you could go from criminalization to legalization. We gonna go from being thrown into being able to tax this now to make money for ourselves. But the real key part that you talked about was education, and what I love, educating others on how to be able to get into said position, but also educating the community. Because we've been washed. I had DARE shirts, DARE to keep a kid off drugs. DARE, like, we gotta create. I know that whole song. The road's a different place when life becomes a race. And I like to keep the past our kids grow up too fast for what they see. So Guns of War, something like that. That's crazy. The Daily Gaining Doctor, happiness is words. If they say that we don't help because the problem isn't mine. It's like a carry in the crowd. dare. Look it up. That's the song. To keep a kid
all right, okay, we knew that part.
We had to sing this in assemblies.
I remember that.
Like literally singing this in assembly, right? And so what I love most about you guys, you know, coming from the very beginnings and your love for the plan and knowing when, going through the risk and getting to the rewards of where you are now, understanding the culture, creating a space for the culture, pumping the brakes, and then waiting for you guys to build up your currency, utilizing the culture. But what I do really appreciate most is that you guys never gave the aspect of not wanting to make sure you educated your people on how to obtain what you should be doing, but also to look at this plant differently. So when the genius kicked in and said, I'm gonna create a care program, it made it look like the god dang on dare. I said, nah.
Nah, for
What?
real. For real.
Yo, my excitement was like, yo, where's the emoji? Head blown?
Yeah, an explosion. Mind blown. Word.
Oh,
Word.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
Because we flipping the script. Because the thing is, when I was in high school, even when we singing that song, I mean, grammar school, you get to high school, everybody smoking.
Everybody.
We sang that for what?
Right.
No reason.
All y'all did was introduce the drugs
All
to
you
us.
did is made them run.
I didn't even know these drugs existed until Derek came around and told me about these drugs.
Because this is your brain.
Yeah,
This is your brain on drugs. Like, who marketed that? Who said this the one right here?
The crazy thing is they're
It
still
wasn't Shine.
active right now.
And it is. And
Right
it is. But it's like, just because something is active
I mean, it's working.
doesn't mean it's working. And I feel like we see that all the time. Now, do I think it's important to make sure that same thing where people don't speak on sexual education?
Yes.
You will sit here and not have the conversations, but it doesn't mean it's going to stop them from engaging.
That's a fact.
Won't stop the encounters.
That's a fact.
Not
What?
stop the inevitable
That's a
encounters.
fact.
What? It's like you're not going to have a conversation with them because you don't want them to have sex? What? Oh, so you're going to have them go out there unprepared,
Right.
uneducated,
Come on.
unprotected.
Right.
Fact.
Right.
So I feel with you guys creating a care program, you guys are making sure they are protected, they are educated, that there's care to what we are positioning. And so can we talk about, you know, the creating of the care program and how you're building that out? Like, I really was happy to get my pen and it said care. And I said, yo, this shit looks just like that. This is crazy. This is so crazy.
I'm gonna let Shine. That's Shine's baby. I mean, we kind of thought about this idea together, but Shine really put, you know, the work behind bringing care to the table. So I would love to hear him talk about how that came about.
So
Ghostwriter.
for those who don't know, I got kids.
We know.
Yeah.
Every time you somewhere, you with them kids.
And,
Yo, Reggie, we're about like, I ain't want to go be with the kids.
and I'm a full-time dad. So
Yeah.
Canna House was my
We
full-time
gotta
job.
clap it up for that. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of deadbeats out here. There's a lot of deadbeats out here.
Look alive. You heard? And being a full-time dad, my full-time job at the time when it currently was Canna House.
Yeah.
So my kids were always around the weed, whether they were watching us do pre-rolls for an event or do pre-rolls for the space, or we were making lemonade and they were in there doing bottle capping with Uncle Reggie. I was like, nah, I gotta make sure that they understand that this is all for a reason. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause they only know weed for being high.
Yep.
So me and Reggie, we talked about it, thought about it, and I was in the house. Like, I was be in the house thinking. I was like,
Always
I
thinking.
I said, cannabis, kitchen. I said, dear, care. And the name came so simple because what we were already actually, the mission of Canna House at the moment was to educate people about cannabis. It wasn't to like deter you away, right? Because like Reggie said, these are inevitable encounters that
Yes.
what we focused the program around was youth ages 10 to 18. That's what we first saw it after because of my kids, right? But as we deployed the initiative into the community, we did this thing called the Care Listening Tour. We would go out and present our like structure or our format of what we wanted to present to the community and the kids to different areas in the state and other states. We did Rochester, we did Philly, we did Buffalo, and we would just give the community a synopsis of what the care program was about. Okay, so fully developed the care as a 12-week curriculum that we put together, Reggie and I, for weeks of different aspects of the cannabis business, different aspects of the plant, different aspects of the benefits, different aspects of the negatives of being involved with cannabis at a young age, and also the job opportunities for people who are of age, because this is an industry that is developing and it has to be populated with jobs, about 50,000 jobs to be exact. And these jobs are going to be like starting on the bottom level, where you can actually grow and get good paying jobs, get wages, and it'll provide opportunities for entrepreneurship. So we wanted to be the ones, like Reggie said, since we already knew that the community had to be educated and we were leading the pack, we had to be the ones to let them know about the opportunities, the good, the bad. And once it started with the youth, once we deployed it into the community, we realized that we needed to do it for the parents as well.
Right.
Because there was a big communication gap, not only between parents and kids about cannabis, but the community and cannabis. Like you said, I grew up in a church. My mother is older. It was, weed is bad.
Yep.
Don't smoke weed.
Yep.
Now you can't really say none of that. It's legal.
Yeah.
We black leading the race.
Yep.
And proven benefits.
Improving benefits. I
Proven.
graduated twice from college on cannabis. Bachelor's and
Sure
a
did.
master's.
Sure
I'm
did.
raising 3 children on cannabis. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, you can't tell me that smoking weed is bad. I'm
You beg to
living proof.
differ.
Right.
I'm living
Yeah.
proof. You know what I'm saying? So it came from the derivative of my children. It came from the mission and the goals of Canna House to be a consumer focused resource center. You know what I'm saying? Not only for like activities, and not only for like products, but also for like advocacy and education, because we're the ones that's responsible for it.
Yeah.
Like having a leader like Reggie to implement that into your, like to imprint that into your brain, it helped shape who we are today.
Yeah.
Because like you said, when we had to pivot without having a leader who had a focus and a vision, we would be just another run of the mill. Well, they was doing it.
Yep.
I don't know where they at right now though.
Yep.
Right.
No
But
consistency.
Once we had to pivot and we knew we had to get off the be more legal, the education just took precedence. And once we seen the need for it, man, we just ran with it. And we just recently had a collaboration.
Let's say talk about
Yeah,
that.
we just had a collaboration with Cornell University and Cannabis Workforce Initiative, where we actually trained 15 aspiring cannabis entrepreneurs and, licensee holders on the rights and responsibilities of, the cannabis industry, as well as the seed to sell process in the cannabis
Seed
industry.
to sell.
Yeah.
And so when I tell you, first of all, when Val was orchestrating this event, I didn't realize, I thought he had took the date for my event. They was like, yeah, it's not available. And I said, what? And I was talking to him. I was like, yo, he's like, yeah, I got that. I said, you took my date?
The reason why I can't do this.
What? But and I want to get back into that. But when I came in to do my walkthrough with Spin, we at the event space that they had their workshop, or their session, their training. I'm not gonna call it a workshop. Their training with Cornell University. Cornell, prestigious.
Google it.
Okay, Google it, right? I'm walking in to do the walkthrough for my event, and I look on the wall and I see Canna House. Because at the hotel that this event was at, it's a really dope hotel, downtown Buffalo, premier space. And you walk in and they're giving you the directions of what goes where. And I see Canna House in this space. And I say, look at this right here. Look at my boy. So after I finished the walkthrough, I say, yo, we about to go find him. And literally you find them and they're in this conference space with the binders, official tissue logos, got the food over there to the side. Yo, y'all hungry? Y'all like, nah, man, I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to see it. Like, it's really the things that you guys have been doing this whole time coming to full fruition. And so it just gave me joy. Just being in the space. You know what I mean? And then when you guys got done with that joint, y'all came downstairs and we partied. At my event. So that was just even double the way.
They was like, dang, man, your click raw.
Yeah.
That's your sister?
Yeah. We got to do this again next year. Same time.
For real.
Folks got something to come to afterwards. For real.
They
But
came down.
they did. And it was beautiful to see the diversity that you guys had in that space of people who came here from out of town. Came to Buffalo.
Across the state.
Yeah.
They're from across the state. Absolutely.
Utica,
Yes.
Poughkeepsie.
to get training from you guys who've been chiefers since forever.
Yeah.
Flipped the script, made it a legalization, and now you're doing education. Legalization, education, criminalization. You know, I'm in here. I'm in here. All the Asians. You know what I'm saying?
I'm out, bro. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Hey, this your boy Shy started about.
But seriously, when you look at that,
Yeah.
all creations. Shando.
No, for real. Yo, I was just saying about Bray. Y'all just saying.
All creations off of the love of this plant.
Yeah.
And diving into the multitude of sectors. I mean, I see y'all being professors now at one of these universities. Honestly, keep it a buck. Might as well, because you got your master's degree. You have enough experience collectively in what you're doing. You're a pioneer in this space. Somebody hired him.
Reggie got a master's in cannabis. I'm just saying, I gotta let people know it, man. CTU, I mean,
CTU. Shout out CTU, Cannabis Training University. You know what I'm saying? Gang.
So my thing is, it's only up, right? So now we have the educational component. And now you guys, as we go back to the very beginning of the conversation, you have this license. So it's like, you got your license. Now what? Yeah. So you got the dirty lemonade and dank. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so now we got more work to do, because as we talked about when we were on our off the record conversations, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, so once you get this level, woo, Lord, thank you so much, I'm here. Right. Then you get up here and go, ooh, this is different air up here.
Word,
woo, this is different air. How much air is up here?
Y'all got discount air up here? Y'all got a clearance air section?
You breathe a little differently.
Let me get some of your oxygen.
Yo, how much it costs to be up here?
Oh, word.
You know, and so for every level as we reach, there's more to there's more in store. There's more to acquire. There's more work involved. So everything that you guys been doing, get it out the mud, investment, risk, pushing to the reward. And now we at the reward place. You guys were literally awarded, you know, the space to have this micro business certificate. Yep. I was about to say micro grant. Lord, bring the grants in.
Say that.
Ooh, praise break.
Shundo. Praise break. I might have to add that. Praise break. I gotta add the sound effect. But now you're here. After, like, that is a lie. Like, if y'all look at that from the first love of the plant, now all the risks that you have pushed out to get to this now space of reward. Because you said 7 years. No, that's just the 7 years of working as a Canna House.
For real.
That has nothing to do with you guys first touching and tasting the plant.
For real.
And then the intricacies of you making sure this plant made money for the family.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So you have to add some more years to the game.
20 plus. Yeah.
You gotta add more years.
Definitely 20-pluser.
Because it's only 7 working as Canna House.
Operators. Yeah, that's fair.
You feel me?
Thank you, sister.
So you're welcome. I got you. Because I ain't gonna let y'all sell yourself short.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So now you're here with this licensing. And what I love most about y'all is that there's no gatekeeping. You know, you sharing, you putting each other on, you tapping into people, and that's why you're going to continuously be blessed. But now you're here with this licensing. You know what I'm saying? Now what? Your license, now what? That could be a whole podcast for anybody. But your license, now what? So what is the next goal? Because, like, the crazy part is, like, oh, God, I can't wait to hit the go, You hit the go, and now you're like, all right. That's great. I got it.
I'm up here.
Now what? Yeah. Now there's another one. Now I got to craft another one.
Yeah.
I remember sitting at the end of my bed in my apartment in Hadley at UB. Then the lady said, you have been accepted. You got your graduation certificates. We'll be away. Everything is good to go. You get that email that tell you can graduate. Not that I was worried, but I still need that completion. And I'm sitting there like, wow, like I did this because X, Y, and Z I wanted to do, and I did it. What's the next goal? And I remember sitting in my bed trying to figure that out. Now what next? Like, I know what it is, but it's like, how I'm about to get there, right? So I feel like you guys are in that space of knowing what it is. but that how to get there is now like that press.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, it's our workload. That's what we focused on now, right? But I mean, previously it was just like, how do we throw a good party?
Yeah.
And then it turned into like, how do we create a good curriculum?
Yep.
Right. And it's like, all right, well, how do we create a good application to apply for a license?
Yep.
So the how-to is just changing on what we need to do.
Yes.
Right. And so we're applying the same lessons that we've been learning. Right now, it's like, all right, we got to raise capital. You know, we need some money. I really need some money, y'all.
Yeah.
So go
On
get
my
it.
main
Listen to
there.
this. Listen to this. Please email us at
Yes, go ahead, put it.
weneedsomemoney.com.
Yeah, give me some money.
That might be a real website. No, don't go there.
Don't go there.
Like, Canna House, find them.
Info at Canna-House.
Hello, there it is.
.com.
The correction.
Yeah, but no, you know, raising capital is a huge concern of ours, right? Finding the right partners. We're at a stage now where we're going to be doing build outs and buying property and acquiring equipment. And, you know, there's people. One thing we pride ourselves on is we want to be the best at what we do. And if we don't do it, then we're going to go find the best at what they do.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do. We got some wonderful partners. Shout out to Mecca Group, who's really been integral in helping us kind of come to market, right? And in terms of the build out and finding folks that, you know, are good partners, right? There's a lot of predatory behavior in this industry where you got a lot of people who are new to industry, new to business. Shout out to Shine's family for having, you know, years of experience, right? And him being able to glean some of that into the
Entrepreneurship.
Understanding, you know, along the journey, what to look out for, some pitfalls. And so, you know, we've been blessed to kind of have a really dope circle that helped guide us through that. But yeah, I mean, we see ourselves as, again, the ultimate resource center for consumption, right, and consumers. And so, you know, we want to have that experience in our space. So we got about 9,500 square feet in our location. This will be kind of the first of its kind where we'll have an all-inclusive micro building. So you'll be able to see our grow there, manufacturing setup. We'll, of course, have our dope retail area.
Yes, sir.
Really cool on-site consumption concept that we're bringing.
See it in my
It's going to be
forehead.
such
I
a
Wait till y'all see it.
man, dope place to hang out, right? And then, you know, that's phase one. Our phase two, we have the ability to separate this into two buildings. So we're going to kind of make that our main grow area, and then we're going to actually try to acquire a second building so we can make our experience offering even bigger and better.
Wow.
And so in the main goal is the ultimate goal is to really be filling this void in all the legal spaces, right? We know that this kind of resource center is what consumers need, and if we're doing it here in Buffalo, they're gonna need it in, you know, New York City, and they're gonna need it in Detroit, and they're gonna need it in LA, right? So they're gonna need it in Africa, right? So we'll be clear, we know this isn't just a state, nationwide initiative. We really do see this as a global solve across the board for cannabis. And so, yeah, I mean, immediately our phase one mission is, right, you know, making sure we secure our building and our build out. We really want to get with some local black folks and people of color that are doing these services. So we hire out for our build out. We want to be hiring from the community. We don't have a bid or anything out available yet, but we will put our RFQ out to make sure that people can, from our community, come in and be a part of the project. So there'll be a number of opportunities that we'll be doing stuff like that, making sure that the community is part of our ascension, because again, they're our bloodline. You know what I mean? We really believe that we're for the folks, and you know, you gotta take care of those people. So
Listen, FUBU all day.
yeah, all day. So that's essentially what we want to do. That's kind of like first on the mission. Of course, we want to grow Dirty Lemonade as big as we can. It already has a huge legacy footprint. But we're really starting to see some traction on the legal side. Yeah. So we're excited.
I feel like you need to create a partnership with somebody champagne, because every time you use champagne and Dirty Lemonade, he is synonymous. Like every time you're gonna see him with champagne, you're gonna see him with Dirty Lemonade. And I'll be like, dang, I should taste that. But I don't. I believe it. I believe it. I gotta stay away.
It's called the wave. It's called the wave. We got a cocktail. We got a mocktail book coming out too. So you'll be able to use the recipes to find out how to.
You gotta double cup it with your Dirty Lemonade cup on there. Yo, listen, I'll be seeing my brother. You know a lot about
the drink to not want to drink, right?
Because I be around y'all. I pay attention to my people. Like I know. Some it's branding. You know what I mean? Yeah. You always got something in your hand pertaining to it. This man does too. And that's when you know people are not just vested because they want to sell it and they want to make money. Like I have an affinity for people who are truly vested in what they selling. And I could tell if you vested by how you show up and how you talk about your brand, how you light up, how you articulate, how you are intricately woven into that joint. You know what I mean? And so for me, like the tapestry,
Word.
you know, we get you getting into that cloth talk. And so and so and so it's really like I love to see it.
And you know, I think that's what makes us
Authentic.
successful.
And
honestly,
yes.
because when we started Canna House as a social club, the goal wasn't to make money. Right? It was all about
We just wanted to get
build a
folks
brand,
together.
build a brand so people can recognize it. Because when we get bigger, they're gonna want what we have to offer even more. So I think that's what makes us who we are today is the fact that we do this for the love of the people and the consumer.
Yep.
It's not about making a dollar.
Yeah.
Even though that was the goal was to make money to create generational wealth. That wasn't like the motive. The motive was to make a change in the community. The motive was to be an impact. So that, I believe, just like you were saying, is what makes us like who we are today.
Can we bring
Can't
back
do
the
it for
social
dollar.
club?
Oh no, it's
No,
coming.
no,
It's
it's
pulling
coming.
up. It's pulling
Now
back.
we can come back.
Now we can come back.
Now we can come back.
It's legal.
Honestly,
Legal.
the spaces was the issue because we were constantly having to find people that would tolerate.
Yeah, that would
us,
tolerate it.
right? And so they're like,
But
or you can
also kind of deal with the aspect of not even touching into the smoking component
100%, 100%.
Because you got your dirty lemonade,
100%.
so we just being there toasting it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is now that I'm aware, you got the food,
Yeah.
you got the infused. You know what I mean? Especially. And that's why I do love these different options because before all you had was the ability to actually smoke it, right? And for some people, the stench is not what they enjoy.
Word.
Like I have my professional friends, they always are drinking some type of a liquid or taking a gummy, eating a cookie, eating anything with it in there. Because they know they can do this and still go to a meeting if they need to go to it and be around people and there's not a smell to it. So I think now the evolution of that position it and it takes away the stigma that comes along with it in so many components.
Yeah, no, sure. Destigmatizing is a huge element to the maturation of like where cannabis stands and how people receive it. And yeah, the diversity in products is really what's driving cannabis.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. What we saw in our consumer kind of experiment with, you know, the social club was really understanding like what new to market products look like.
Yes.
And you know why people are gravitating to them. What's actually driving somebody to try something new? What's sustaining? Right. Sometimes people just come to the market with just like these one-offs or kind of like this idea that's like fitting for the moment, but you know can't sustain. And yeah, I think that is a huge element to, like you said, the success that we've kind of started to build out. And I think for anybody that's looking to get into the space, that's important that you know you prioritize that. So. Yeah, man. I genuinely think we say it all the time. Finding your cannabis diet is a term we use.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes, because again, we grew up smoking. Smoking. So now I might smoke a joint. I might pop a gummy at 12. I might drink my lemonade around 5, and then I might smoke at the end of the night.
Come on, diversify it up.
Where before I'm smoking 4 blunts a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't need that. I don't necessarily need that.
I definitely don't.
Now,
need
could you
that.
guys also come up with additional products outside of products that are actually tangible for like what was it intake? So like for instance, I smoke cigars, you know what I mean, occasionally celebratory when I'm on a golf range, whatever. But there's like this stick when it gets down to being too short that I use, right? I feel like that is necessary for blunts.
Yeah. They got those.
You
They
know
got
what I mean?
Roach clips. So
Yeah, because some of these people be burning their lips.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is, you know,
For sure.
Hey, man, I don't have.
I hate that for them.
Yeah.
No, y'all really don't.
No, yeah.
Maybe that also could be a hygiene component that y'all could teach people.
For sure.
Because some of these people, you look like you smoke.
You know what?
And no.
No, that's judging.
Yo,
Don't say no judging.
listen,
No judging them.
Because, but I do know you do.
That's real though.
You smoke weed?
Yeah, that's because it's like,
Let me guess.
yeah, I know that lip. You know what I mean?
I know
But
that
it's but it's really those different components where it's just like, then also there are some people, there's never been a time when I'm around y'all and that you have a stench.
Right.
There are some people who have a stench.
Right.
You know, and it's like you don't Are you not? I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's so many avenues of teaching, and I'm laughing because it's just like these are just the random things my mom would say once upon a time. Like,
You know the crazy thing is though, we don't have a stench, but wherever we go, we have a little bit of, you smell the weed aroma on us.
You can smell
and
the aroma.
But we have debunked and we have educated and we have destigmatized it so much that it's like, oh, okay.
It's dang near your cologne.
Right. Oh, no, that's Reggie and Shine. That's Reggie and Shine. You know what I'm saying?
But it don't
Canna House.
But it's tasteful, right?
It's tasteful.
It is tasteful because it does have a little Gucci, little
Yeah,
YSL.
Hello, that's my jam.
It's a blend.
Marcello, little Marcello.
Hello.
But the funny thing about that is, and what you bring up is a bigger point, which is cannabis really is just a reflection of everything else that's going on.
Yes.
Right? It's like you can have a cannabis version of everything else.
Yep.
So it's the same problems we have in regular society. Some people just think.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Right? You got a stench, right?
Yes.
It ain't got nothing to do with weed smoke or not.
Darn.
And it's like, it's just some people
I was giving you guys a health avenue to kind of help these people.
But I do appreciate that. It's an opportunity.
You see me? I'm like,
there.
y'all can talk about
know,
different
there-
things and like, hi, this is how you should do this.
Yeah, there is a
Like
thing
one
there.
day, I'm calling him. I'm like, bro, what you doing? I'm doing oil pulling. I'm like, what? Yeah. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure my stuff stay on point just because I'm smoking.
Yeah, nah,
like
for
what?
real.
But that's
That
a
is,
fact.
that is.
It's things people don't take into consideration that you can still maintain and make sure these are on par. Because when you overconsume, you don't know how this can affect your teeth or you know what I mean, your stench.
Word.
So, but that is a reality.
The
And
ethics.
even what you gave the diversifying aspect, we said at this time I could smoke a blunt, might hit a gummy, might you giving it's a lifestyle
Right,
change where you can
right.
shift it up and I can introduce you to different components.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think you guys can make some content on that.
I like that. I'm not opposed to that. I
Yeah.
think we could do something.
Don't
Yeah.
give
So
him
let's-
no more ideas. Okay?
No,
All right?
because I just feel like it's necessary.
Shine knock it out next week. Don't worry.
Shine, you will.
I'll put it on Shine's plate. I'll put it on Shine's
Trying to
plate.
do it. Trying to do it. So as we kind of talk about those things, and then as I'm talking about like, oh, you look like you smoke. Let's get into the debunking. Like, is that using the word debunk?
Debunk,
Yes,
yep.
debunked. You know, some things that people may randomly say that you guys are fighting against on the regular.
Yeah.
Let's get into like let's do 4 of them.
Okay, what you got? You got?
One that we talked about in the class, like if you smoke weed, you can't function properly, or you can't do tasks correctly, or you can't be productive. Right? That's not true.
All right. So
that's
what is your comeback to that when you're in class? Cause you gonna tell them to get some sativa?
So I mean, honestly, okay. So that's all right. Let's
Yeah.
debunk that.
Yes, let's
All right,
debunk that. Here we go. Come on.
Here's something.
Because in my
right?
head, I'm like this. If I do anything, I got a sativa because I could keep going.
So that's a
Right.
good way. I mean, so all right. The way that cannabis came out is people know it as cannabis sativa, which is an upper.
Yep.
Cannabis indica, which is the
lower.
downer in the
The
couch,
downer.
and then the hybrid, which is in the middle.
between.
Oh, I
And
forgot about
so
the hybrid.
The hybrid could be a 50-50, or you could be a hybrid where you're just dominant in one sativa or dominant in an indica. Now, here's the thing
Come
really
on.
about indica and
The
sativa.
professors is in here. The
What
chief
they're-
chiefers.
What they're really talking about is the terpene profile.
Come on, terpene.
So terpenes
I'll write this down.
essentially
Look this
are,
up.
if you know any smell you've ever had, like lavender, you smell it. That's a terpene,
Terpene.
right? So all plants have terpenes, right? And in particular with cannabis, the terpene profile is really what gets you that desired effect. Now there's some other stuff, of course, THC being the without getting too nerdy, the cannabinoid.
Now, come on,
It's
come
the
on,
component.
brother.
It's the component.
Cannabinoid, come on.
It's the component that we know the most that gets you kind of that psychoactive,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
high,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so that goes with it. But terpenes often determine that. So sometimes you might be like, I smoked this sativa and it made me tired. That don't make no sense. I thought it was a sativa. It's supposed to keep me up.
Right.
But it's really the terpene profile and how that worked with your
Body.
chemical makeup, right? So that's
Just
the thing
like
about
perfume
Exactly.
or cologne.
Yep.
Okay, it don't smell the
It don't
same
smell
with
the same
everybody.
everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
And the cannabis works very, very much the same way.
I
with
love
that.
it.
That does not show up on everybody the same way. So that's a debunking of
That's
how
important.
people categorize
Yes,
cannabis.
because you don't know how that particular one could respond with your
Mhm.
makeup.
Mhm.
Yep.
And oftentimes people aren't taught to go find out what the terpene profile of the strain is. It's just like, what strain is that? Is it indica, sativa? Okay, that's what you like. But it's like, well, truthfully, I really like limonene, or I like micronine, which is like these piney or this lemony flavors. Like I love lemon, anything lemon haze or lemon base, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna make sure there is a dictionary that's gonna be available.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's a lot of words.
Because I'm over here like, I'm gonna need all of this broken down. We're gonna have to have a Canna dictionary, all right?
No,
there you go.
Yeah, that might be coming too. That might be coming.
Not maybe, it's coming, y'all.
It's coming.
Because I need an educational moment after this.
Yeah,
because I'm getting it.
But essentially, that's a big stigma. I think that people kind of like miscategorize how to understand what they like and don't like when they consume. Yep. And it could lead you down paths of like, oh, I actually don't even like that strain. It's like, well, it could have been that cut. It could have been from that cultivator or that grower in particular. Maybe they're using nutrients that you don't really like. So there's so much to really unpacking what you do and don't like about a strain. And so I think that's one. Another debunking. We got 4, so we got 2 left. Trying to think of a good one. Oh, I got a legal one for rights and responsibilities, right? So companies can drug test you.
Oh yeah.
They can do that, but cannabis can't be a reason why you fired. Right, they can't use cannabis as one of those catalysts, and so that's a big thing. Same thing in terms of possession is currently legal. Some of the stuff that people just don't understand. It's been illegal for so long. Currently, under the laws being passed, you can possess up to
3 ounces.
3 ounces on your person, 5 pounds in your home, right? And so
just 5 pounds in a house?
That's all. That's all.
Five
but what you can, that's a lot. That's just
you said like just 5 pounds in a house?
Yeah, and so these are just some things that you want to know. On your what you have the rights to. How you're protected. I think a lot of times that isn't talked about enough.
Is this like state to state?
This is state to state. This is New York. Everything I'm saying is New York State.
New York.
New York State. That is a great question.
Yep. Yes.
Federally, cannabis is still illegal.
Yes. Yep.
It is on the Schedule 1 list. There's potential for it to be rescheduled. We would prefer it to be descheduled, which would be taking it off the list altogether. They're proposing that it goes from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, which would make it.
And what does that mean for those who are listening?
For those who understand, so back in 1970, there was a Controlled Substance Act, which started to create a list of banned substances. Most notable is like heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine. Crazy enough, cannabis is on the same list, Schedule 1, with those same dangerous drugs. And it's clear that cannabis doesn't belong in the same
those
group.
are not used in the medical field.
No.
Nope.
And to your point, let you finish, Reggie. But to your point, Adriana, there was no medical research to warrant this as a drug that could be a Schedule 1. There was no medical research. There was no data that said that. This was just like a racially and hate crime motivated through the administration during 1970.
100%.
Which makes sense because it's the war on crime.
Exactly.
War on drugs.
War on drugs.
Yep.
I mean, I can give you that's a deep story.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
deep.
yeah,
That goes
yeah,
deep.
yeah,
But
yeah,
essentially, the government needed a scapegoat. Marijuana wound up being the scapegoat.
Yep.
And so it trickled down. All of these things happened since then. But the Controlled Substance Act created that schedule list. And so Schedule 2, I think Schedule 2 actually is where cocaine and methamphetamine and stuff is in Schedule 1, which is with cannabis. Then I think you go on to 3, which is like aspirin, right? You think about
aspirin,
right? Where these substances, steroids.
Steroids.
So still has to be regulated, right? Cannot just be taking hands off. It's a substance you can just purchase anywhere, but a lot less stringent. Right? The rules around it is a lot loosened, but it does create another set of issues that I don't think the federal government has considered as it relates to states that already have governing laws that pertains to a Schedule 1 substance, right? And
so we want it descheduled.
We want to deschedule. Take it off the list altogether. Let's not call it
and
any of those
then
things.
it would be better for it than to be letter proposed.
Correct. And then the states can start to really issue what they think. And honestly, I think that's what the federal government will do is when they do pass it, they'll just take it hands off and say, states, you're now required to make your own rules about how cannabis is legalized. And we just don't want to make it a risk of that federally, you can't bank anymore or you can't do anything that's federally
because
related.
Right now also can we either fact or fiction this that you cannot hold a pistol permit and
I don't.
What is
That is a weird conversation.
Yo,
I've heard
'cause
so many different things.
Because I'm just like, I heard that. And I said, how is that possible? As
don't
someone
think
who
it's
is a
true,
pistol
man.
permit holder, right? The idea of you telling me that I can't protect my business if I am a cannabis business, it sounds so tricky. Because I heard that like you can't have both, and I'm like, how, Sway? And why?
So this goes. I think this.
So that's another one. I'm gonna have to do some research
I think
on that.
it
to
derives
debunk.
from you are able to operate a high machine under the influence of marijuana. So if you got a license, they're already assuming you're gonna be high using the gun. So that's where it could have came from, and that's why I think that it derives from like not being able to function properly a gun under the influence.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's one of those things.
But that's still not true.
It's one of those.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those
we need to
things
find
where,
out
like,
what's going on with
there's
that.
The rule of it is like there's no real way to check it.
Yeah.
It's not like a unified system where like I can go in here and say here's a system that shows me that this person is registered as a cannabis consumer if I'm just selling you a gun. Right, if I'm about to issue you a gun license, I can't go look in the system and say, "Oh, sorry, I can't issue this because you got a cannabis license over here." Or so there's the checks and balances of it doesn't really add up. But I have heard that too. And
Right.
I would be remiss to just give you an answer here and say something that I'm not clear on.
Right.
And that's a good thing about cannabis too. I think it's important that you're
It's still
responsible
evolving.
and to say, "I don't know."
Yep.
I don't know is a very good answer in
It
cannabis,
is.
and it gives people the opportunity to go find the answer for
Yeah,
themselves.
and I'm gonna go find that answer.
I'm not 100% sure.
Because I was sitting here like, how does this work?
I was one way. I believe I've heard so many different conversations. I'm like, no, okay, that makes sense. Then I'm gonna keep telling people that they can have both.
Right.
And I heard somebody make a really strong argument that day. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna stop saying that
Right.
until
You go find your own
ask
answer.
an attorney, man. Ask an attorney.
Right.
Shout out.
Go find your own answer. And as I talk about all the answers and think about all the answers that you guys have given, I always make sure before people depart, I gotta get your 3 G codes to success. And Val get on my nerves. He get on my nerves because he always wants to shiggity. And so, when we think about, as I talked, I first asked you guys, when did you first fall in love with the plant and your journey to it, and with it, and getting to it at this level, what are collectively, I'm not going to say you guys got to come up with them individually. I'll say, collectively, what are your G codes to success? Give me your top. I'll do 2. So it's just you 1 and 1. Is you all fine with that?
I got a bunch, so it's cool.
Come on, come through. All right, now any I'll give you 4. 2 and 2 still.
I say right off the bat, consistency.
Yeah.
I think anything you get into, you need to have some education, of course, and make sure that you're prepared to go on the journey. But don't start the journey if you're not going to be consistent.
Yeah.
Right? And because you're going to go through some ups and downs. You're going to see the ebbs and flows, but your consistency will shine through. You will be cashing checks, figuratively or, literally, later in life based on the work that you did previously. And that only shows when you stay consistent.
Yeah.
Right? If you're only putting in pockets of work, you're going to get pockets of results.
Yep.
And so the consistency is huge. And attitude. Your mindset is going to determine ultimately the results you have in life. I think I said it previously when I might have spoke to you before when we said this. But essentially, your mind creates thoughts. Your thoughts create actions. Your actions create habits, and your habits create results. So how you look at life, you only see the negative things and the things that you're missing out on. That's what you're going to pay attention to. You miss out on all the things that you have and what you should be thankful for. And so it's important that, again, you're staying consistent and you had the right mindset and attitude when you're pushing towards a dream.
That's it. Come on, Reggie.
No,
Reggie with the word.
Hey.
Praise break.
So falling right in line. One of my G codes is for me. I'm gonna say it in the most broad way so it could be accepted widely. You gotta have a higher power, but for me, God. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to come across, like Reggie said, you're going to have tough times, and your friends ain't going to be able to bring you up, your mother, your team. Sometimes you got to be able to reach a higher power that can help you elevate and to help you see that, keep pushing, keep going. I did on the cross. Like, you can do it too. Like,
Right.
so you gotta have something that motivates you outside of like just the mission and the reason. So a higher power, stronger force. You don't have to be like a higher. It could be your kids. It could be, but have a driving force that's gonna help you stay the course or the consistency. So tie the driving force into the consistency part.
Yeah.
And then I will also say one of the things I would say is build a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it by yourself.
No.
And if you look around the world in any sport, any job arena, it's teams. It's CEOs, COOs, CFOs, CMOs, point guards, point guards, shooting guards, small forward, power forward, lineman, defensive end, wide receiver, running back, race car driver, tire changer. But everybody got a team. It ain't nobody that did it by themselves. When you building your team, build a team with people that align with you, that align with the goals and the values that you have as a person and a business person. Because just because you're your friend or your family member, that don't mean nothing. You got to be somebody that's actually down to do the work just like you. So have a higher power and build a strong, solid team.
I love that.
I love that.
I got one more too.
Yeah, come on.
Learn the power of your no.
Yes.
Oh,
Woo,
yes.
It's a complete sentence.
Oh, my
I love-
goodness.
That's my favorite sentence. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that, man. I don't know how to do that.
Oh man, your yeses are expensive. They had you doing some shit you ain't planning on doing, and you committed to something that you shouldn't be doing.
I hated that point of my life.
Yeah.
I hated the yes part of my life. I hated it.
Yeah, that's real.
Now you
hated
rolling in a no.
What?
That boy here, you with the nay-no, my brother. It's
Wanna
a
hear the
nay-no.
Spanish? Hell no.
Right.
What? Nah, I can't do that.
Yo, he hit you with all the no's. Listen, those G codes are absolutely, they real because you guys have shown that in your life. You know what I mean? Truthfully, you know, if anybody who know, you have lived those G codes that you guys are sharing. And, you know, our G codes that I feel like people should really make sure that they adapt to, you know, and to get you through the journey. Because it's really like, when you look back at it, it's like the journey is really the reward.
It is. It is.
You know?
We laugh about this all the time. Wait till our movie come out.
Yo, I
Wait
can't
till our
wait.
documentary come out.
Netflix
Y'all gonna
series.
see. Yo, I'm like, yo, they was doing what?
Y'all never gonna believe.
Yo, listen.
never
Real, the journey
We gonna
is
be in this
insane.
journey together.
I swear nothing is made up. I swear
I
it's
swear.
all really
Right,
true
for real,
story.
This is all real.
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
This is all real. None of this has been brought to you for entertainment purposes.
None of this.
You know when you watching BMF and they say could be real,
we could've
maybe
changed
it's
some
not.
names in the
Change
story.
some stuff to make it. Nah, this is all real
Yeah.
because it's us.
We might have even toned something down so we
right,
could get approved.
right. Yo,
during
for
this
real,
theater.
right.
I couldn't even tell y'all the real story.
No idea how this went down, but you guys are here and, you know, watching you guys go through this journey. Like I said, just watching you, learning of you individually, getting to know you, you know, knowing my bro Val. Like, you guys were on this journey from jump. Like, I just remember, Reggie, you just always having this dope energy coming in all the time. Just like geeked up about something, having a full conversation about something and going deep with it. You know what I'm saying? And Val from jump just being this entrepreneur and this marketer. You know what I'm saying? From the beginning, throwing parties and stuff with his hat too big for his head.
No shirt on.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, why are you taking his shirt off with that chest? What are you doing, my guy? Yo, to this day, he still will and will try.
In fact, guys, y'all can't see this. He doesn't have a shirt on right now. He's actually shirtless in the studio.
I've been working out too. I'm back in the gym.
Yo, you see my chest? You see my chest? That boy doing his pull-ups in the kitchen.
Take my boy
You know,
nowhere.
yo. And this is why, you know, you guys are able to sell what you push. Because it's not a pitch.
Yeah, it's us.
It's you.
It's us.
It's organically you. And this is what people buy in, because there's many other brands out here, but we buy into your story, we buy into your journey, we buy into your passion and what you're showing and how you are invested in it. So when you show your investment, I'm invested. I don't smoke or do none of this, but whatever my boys is, I'm around.
It's always a platform for us. We appreciate you too, because you always open
Shout out to
doors for
the
us.
G Code, the G Suite, the Go Getter, the Go Getters,
Go
the
Get Us, BLK, everybody.
yeah. Dash Radio.
All of it. Yeah.
Good.
Yo, because wherever I'm at, I'm gonna pull my people. And you know, and speaking of where you at, you know, tap in and tell the folks how they could tap in with you, the brand, get it shipped, share it, send it. Y'all need it, taste it. We got it.
Yeah, pull up on us, man. Pull up on us, canna-house.com. You email us directly at info@canna-house. Of course, you can find us on social medias. IG, we are the _house. I hope you're going to put that somewhere.
Yeah, I got you.
The _house. And then on Facebook, we're Canna-house. So yeah, man, please reach out to us. Orders are available right now for Dirty Lemonade.
Fendi.
You can hit us up, man. We got our distributor getting them things out to you as soon as possible. So please hit us up. If you got a dispensary, you know, a legal shop that's interested in having the product in the store, man, we're really excited to get that to you.
I love it. I love it. And your individual joints?
Oh, I'm Reggie_no_Reggie on IG. So Reggie No Reggie, and then Reggie Keith on Facebook, man.
You know, this is your boy Shine, man. I don't gotta say nothing, man.
Yo,
I know
you
my
swear.
name, Valentine Shine.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. Your boy Shine.
Your boy Shine.
I know what it is.
That is legit his
Your boy Shine.
Instagram.
It really is. Instagram.
His email is
That's my-
actually your boy
Yo,
Shine.
your
at
boy
Canada.
Shine.
And my
He
Venmo
irks
too.
me.
My Venmo too.
Venmo?
I
mean, hey,
so
consistency,
bad.
consistency.
He's consistent. He's always on brand. One thing, always on brand. Listen, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate y'all
This
for
was
pulling
dope,
up,
man.
tapping in. I'm
know,
proud of
man.
y'all. I'm excited for the next bottle popping moment.
Yes.
'Cause it's gonna be another one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm geeked up.
And shout out to you though, ADRI.V, man, for creating a platform and
Seriously, if your friends don't motivate you,
No,
gotta
yeah,
get
they
new
ain't your
ones.
friends.
They ain't your friends.
New friends,
You know what I mean? Every time I look up, y'all doing something. Every time I look up, something is popping off. We looping each other in. So you, it's imperative. That's the G code. You gotta surround yourself. You gotta surround yourself by other people who are getting it. Because if you don't, where's gonna be your motivation to get it?
you either surrounding yourself with somebody who wants to get it or
Yo.
don't want to get it.
Yo.
Both of them gonna influence you.
Both of
So
them.
which one you want?
Both of them.
You know what I'm saying?
And
One-
so if you ain't getting it, I got get from you around me.
That's a fact.
You know, the idea of even just having one job, sometimes I'm like, that's it?
That's
Uh,
how you surviving.
yeah.
I'm asking myself that right now.
That's not your nature though, but
How
what
you
you doing it?
surviving?
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, listen, y'all, tapping with my good brothers. And anything that they produce, 100% ADRI.V approved.
That's
so
a
make sure
fact.
you stay tapped in. Canna House all day. I love y'all for listening. Welcome to the G Code. Thank you for listening to the G Code podcast. Don't forget to check us out weekly on all podcast streaming platforms. Want to connect with me? Listen, it's just so simple. Tap in with me on all social platforms at ADRI.V The Go Getta. A to the D, R to the IV, THEGOGETTA. For questions, comments, concerns, tap in with me via email. Go to ADRI.V at ADRI.VTheGoGetter.com. Or you can text me at 214-70-ADRI-V. 214-70-ADRI-V. And until next time, you know what it is. I love you so much for listening. And always remember, there is no need for the cheat code when you got the G code.
I was born in the G code embedded in my blood.
Matter of fact, you just triggered a level orange G code security threat.
And that's the G code, the G code, the G code.